Alright guys, are you having a hard time getting your offer accepted on houses you actually want? And what if I told you that there's a way to compete and even beat out cash investors with your loan?
I need a house in the hills that come with a deck and a grill. So all of my niggas we've been cooking for real. I gotta get back to the real. We gotta get back to the field. This show all my people is looking up still. Said I need a house in the hills that come with a deck and a grill.
As always, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe to help the channel grow, and comment below and let me know what's going on in your market and questions you may have about the home buying or the home selling process. So getting offers accepted right now is pretty complicated, and typically you're going to have to buy the house as is, or worse, you're going to have to waive your inspection contingency. You might have to offer an appraisal gap and pay thousands and thousands over the appraised value and offer a lot over the asking price. And even with doing all of that, you still may be beat out by some cash investor or some person who's just buying all cash. And what if I told you that there's a way to compete and even beat out cash investors with your loan? There are a number of programs out there who will turn your pre-approval into an all-cash offer. This will help you compete against investors in Wall Street who are buying up a lot of the houses out there. The program I'm going to speak about is one that I've used a few times to help my buyers win against multiple offers, and I found a lot of success when using the program as well. And the exact one I'll talk about is Ribbon Home Advantage Program. There are two different ways you can use the Ribbon program. There's the Ribbon Boost option and the Ribbon Reserve option. We'll discuss how both of the options work and dive into the ins and outs of the program too, that I have found to be beneficial and to be a negative on the program. So first, let's look at the Ribbon Boost option. The Ribbon Boost option is for buyers who just need a slight advantage. Using the Boost option will allow you to waive the appraisal contingency when purchasing a home and making an offer on a home, but you'll still be able to purchase it with your bank loan by offering that Ribbon will cover any of the difference in the appraised value and the purchase price. For example, if you're purchasing a home at $400,000 and the home appraises at $390,000, you will only have to buy the home at $390,000, all because that's the max amount that the bank will lend you, and Ribbon will actually pay the difference, which would be $10,000, in order to allow the seller to still sell the home at $400,000. This allows you to waive your appraisal contingency because it doesn't matter what it appraises for. Now, the coverage is not free. There is a charge of 1% of the purchase price in order to use the service. The 1% charge is due if the house appraises at full value or not. The best way to think of this is as insurance. You pay whether you use it or not, but in the event that it's needed, you're sure glad you have it. Not to mention, your offer would likely be moved ahead of any offer that does have an appraisal, a contingency, because the seller will know that there's a chance that they will not make that full offer price. With your offer, it'll be solid. If it says you're buying it at like a $400,000, then there's a 100% chance the seller will make $100,000 on that sale. What the benefit of this is that right now a lot of people are offering cash above appraisal or appraisal gaps. So you're competing against people who may say, we'll purchase the house at $400,000 if it appraises at full value. If it does not appraise, they're gonna pay cash out of pocket and cover a certain amount. So you may be going up against an offer that says, I will cover a $10,000 difference, meaning that if it appraises at $390,000, the seller will still make the full $400,000 and the buyer will pay out of pocket $10,000 to cover that difference. Now, if that same buyer used Ribbon, then they would only have to pay a $4,000 charge, and Ribbon will cover the difference of $390,000 and $400,000. And now the buyer who doesn't have Ribbon, if they have that appraisal gap in there, then if that house appraised at $380,000, then that purchase price will be moved to $390,000, and they will still have to pay the full $10,000, and the seller knows that if that happens, they're gonna make less money. So having that surefire, this is the amount we're purchasing it for, will help your offer get pushed ahead of offers that have appraisal gaps or appraisal contingencies. You're paying a small fee of 1% in order to boost your home up above these other offers and possibly win. Now, the ribbon reserve option. This is the strongest option, and it's really hard to beat this option. With the ribbon reserve option, Ribbon will actually purchase the home for you all cash. Ribbon is able to close on the house in as little as 14 days. And once Ribbon purchases the house, you're able to move in right away. From that point, you have 180 days to use your loan to buy the house from Ribbon at the same purchase price. So once you're under contract, you operate the same on your end. You give your contract right to your lender, and they begin the underwriting process. Ribbon still goes ahead and closes on the house, and once your underwriting is done, you buy the house from Ribbon. Banks are typically able to close on a loan in 30 days. If it's a conventional loan, maybe a little longer if it's a VA or like a FHA loan. During the time that Ribbon closes on the home before you buy it, you do have to pay rent while Ribbon holds the house for you. You're able to live there as well too. The rent is prorated to the day, which means that if you close 10 days after their closing of the house, then you only have to pay 10 days in rent. And the same rule on appraisals applies as in the boost. If the home appraises lower than the offer price, then Ribbon will cover the difference and you only have to buy the house at the appraised value. Now you will need to check with the HOA if the home has an HOA. You want to make sure that in the HOA bylaws, there's not a term against short-term rentals. If short-term rentals are not allowed, then your contract will be denied by the HOA and your contract will fail and you won't be able to purchase the house. The fee to use a Ribbon Reserve varies by state, and where I am in Tennessee, the charge is 2.4% of the purchase price. That sounds like a lot, but considering that most buyers are offering such large appraisal gaps, it kind of balances out, or maybe even is a little cheaper in order to guarantee that you can win this house. Because Ribbon Reserve is a very strong offer. It's an all-cash offer, a 14-day closing, and unless a person has an all-cash offer higher, it's unlikely that they will beat your offer. Now, let's get in the ins and outs of Ribbon. If you use the reserve option, you cannot waive your inspection contingency. Ribbon will require you to have a home inspection and give them the full report. If Ribbon finds anything that they think of as being high priority, they will ask that either you or the seller makes the repairs before closing. If you want to offer to purchase the home as is, then be prepared to possibly need to make repairs on the house before you purchase it. If you're buying with an FHA loan, then you will want to note this. It will violate the 90-day flip rule. The 90-day flip rule states that the current owner of the house, when purchasing with the FHA loan, must own the home at least 90 days. I've also had a lender who told me that not only does it trigger the 90-day rule, but it also will trigger the identity of interest guides pertaining to the tenant and landlord, which restricts. With the FHA loan, you will have to have a loan to value of 85% until the tenant has rented for 6 months. This means that until you have rented the home 6 months from Ribbon, you will have to have a 15% down payment. Once you pass the 6 months, then it goes back to normal and you can purchase with 3.5% down. Now, this does not mean you can't buy and use Ribbon with the FHA loan, but you will need to be prepared to rent the house from Ribbon for 6 months before you close on it. And this only pertains to FHA loans and not a conventional loan. If you decide to bid on a property with Ribbon, then you must give Ribbon the address ahead of time. They would then conduct a computer appraisal in which they would determine approximately in their mind the amount that the house can appraise for. You will then have a full appraisal gap coverage up to that amount that Ribbon gives you. They call this the Ribbon max value. It can sometimes take a day or 24 hours. in order to get your max offer amount on the property, which can be annoying in crunch time. So it's good to keep that in mind when you're thinking about bidding on a home. All in all, my opinion on ribbon has changed over the years. When I first learned of ribbon in the middle of 2020, I was really against it. I thought the fees was really high and highly unnecessary. But since then, and really since the middle of last year, my opinion has changed. I've seen buyers offer appraisal gaps of over $10,000 and $20,000 and $30,000 just to be able to win a house and have to pay that full amount. I've seen buyers lose home after home to investors who are buying cash and buying homes in bulk just to go back out and rent that same home for a large rent amount. I now view ribbon as a less expensive option in order to be able to compete and beat out investors and cash buyers, or beat out just other loans on a house you really love. Once you agree to use ribbon and sign their terms, you don't have to use it. You're able to pick and choose when and what house and how you use it on each of the house. You can use a ribbon boost on some houses, or like if you really love a house, I use the reserve option. It's really up to you. Ribbon isn't available in all states, but all states have a program kind of like this. All you have to do is a little bit of research to find out what's available in your area. I would basically search pre-approval to cash programs in my state. Of course, with anything in purchasing a home, be sure and discuss this with your lender and your realtor. You want to be sure that they're well versed in how the process works and know all the ins and outs and what needs to be done in order to use ribbon and close with ribbon. Be sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment of what you think about ribbon and how your home buying journey has been along the way. If there's a topic or if you have a question, be sure to leave that as well, and I will answer in the comments or make a video about it, or probably both. Thanks for watching. I'm Preston Williams, and I'm out.
I need a house in the hills that come with a deck and a grill. So all of my niggas we've been cooking for real. I gotta get back to the real. We gotta get back to the field. The show all my people is looking up still. Said I need a house in the hills that come with a deck and a grill.